What is up, everybody? What is going on? It's your man, Big B. Steve, welcome to Steelers Almighty. Whew. Crazy game last night. Crazy game. Not Steelers, but Ravens and Bengals up and down the field, just doing wind sprints. Zero defense. Let me just say that again. Zero defense from either side. Just can't stop anybody. Cannot stop anybody. Personally, I think that bodes well for the Steelers. The Steelers offense is different now. We'll see this weekend even more. What's going on, Jar Devil? I think it bodes well for the Steelers. Look, the Ravens defense stinks. It stinks. Their pass defense, they didn't even attempt to stop Jamar Chase. They didn't even attempt to stop him. Lord have mercy. So not only did they not attempt to stop him, they couldn't do anything to stop, not even slow him down. My God. And then the Ravens are just as bad, or not the Ravens, but the Bengals are just as bad. Their defense stinks too. They couldn't do nothing. Lamar Jackson, 25 for 33, 290 and 4 touchdowns, did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Now, don't get me wrong. Is our defense going to have their hands full? Yeah, they will when they play both of those. We got the Ravens next week. Heck, we got our hands full against the Commanders this week. So are we going to have our hands full? Yeah, but we have a better defense. First of all, we got better pass rush than either one of those teams could ever dream about having. And yes, I understand that Hubbard plays for the Bengals. Hubbard and Hendrickson, I get it. They're not even close to T.J. Watt and Highsmith and Herbig. They're not close. They're not close. So, like I said, that was first of all, it was a good football game. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching the football game last night. I thought it was a good game. But after it and just sitting back and thinking, okay, the Steelers got a chance here. And not that I didn't think that they didn't have a chance previously, but those two defenses are horrendous. Just horrendous. They put up zero resistance to anything. And people talk about the Ravens. Oh, the Ravens rush defense. There's room to run on that Ravens defense, man. There's a ton of room to run. The Steelers will be able to run it. They'll be able to throw it. As long as they don't turn it over, they're going to be just fine in that football game against the Ravens. The Bengals, the same way. The same way. Jamar Chase is outstanding receiver. Maybe the best in the league. He's that good. But the Steelers pass rush, which the Ravens are, even that I can't remember. I know his name. I just can't pronounce it. D-tackle had 3 sacks. Cam Hayward can't do that? Okay, Cam Hayward not capable of doing that? Not to mention, he had 3 sacks, and they don't have anything as far as an outside pass rush in Baltimore. Nothing. The Steelers do. Oh, by the way, the Steelers have the best defensive player in the world. That just happens to be an outside rusher. Look, I feel confident. I feel confident going into both of those games. I feel confident. I feel less confident playing the Bengals. I always have, because the Bengals, especially if T. Higgins is back, they've got more weapons. But that's it. If the Steelers get after them, they'll be able to stop them. They just have more weapons, better weapons than what the Ravens have. They have better weapons. But yeah, both of those defenses stink. Both of those defenses stink. It was an entertaining football game last night, but I'm not. I worried. I shouldn't say I'm not worried, because both of them are very capable of beating us. But when it just comes down to, people stop calling me. Y'all know I'm doing a live. But when it comes down to, hey, man, I'm worried that we're just not going to be able to compete with them. Yeah, we're going to be able to compete with them. We're going to be able to compete with them just fine. So what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? I'm going to look at what you guys are saying. What do you guys think about last night's game? Worried? Happy, indifferent, What do you guys think as far as the Steelers' chances based off of what we saw last night? Like I said, the offenses are good. Offenses are good, but if you're going to tell me that the Steelers need to be worried because, well, what those teams bring to the table, they brought nothing defensively. Now, you could say, well, the defenses didn't look good because the offenses were so good. One guy had 3 damn sacks from the Ravens. And still Joe Burrow threw for over 400 yards. So Eddie Long thinks that we can sweep the division this year. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. So you're going to be at the Ravens games next week? Absolutely. There you go, Tom Morris. Be loud and proud. Be loud and proud. So Baltimore wasn't impressive. I mean, they scored 42 points, so you can't say they weren't impressive. Scoring 42 points in the National Football League is impressive. Now, you could say because the Bengals defense is just god-awful. I'm with you there, Byron. I'm right with you there. But they still had to put the points up. So that's a little bit impressive, I guess. But I see your point, Byron. The Bengals just, their defense brought nothing. Like nothing. And they had the lead. They were up 14 points. They had the lead. But they just brought nothing. And the Ravens defense, nothing. And again, they didn't even want to try to run the ball last night. The Bengals running game was just throwing check downs to Chase Brown. That was their running game. Literally. Hey, what's going on, Joe? That was the running game for the Bengals, was throwing check downs to Chase Brown. What do you have, like 9 catches or something like that? So they just decided, okay, we're not going to run it to get running yards. We're just going to throw check downs to the running back to get running yards. That was the difference. That's what they did. And it was effective. I mean, it was effective. If you add in Chase Brown with his rushing yards and catching the ball out of the backfield for those little checkdowns, you add that up, it was almost 100 yards. So, and that's what people won't realize. They'll think, well, they couldn't run the ball, and the Ravens' run defense was so good. The Bengals just decided we're not going to just run it. We'll just throw these little checkdowns because we know your pass defense is terrible. Made sense to me. Made perfect sense to me. How many INTs do you think TJ will get? I mean, I don't think TJ Watt's going to get any interceptions, but I think he's going to sack them. So, Joe says, honestly, I expected more out of both teams. Jamar Chase is a problem, though. I hope JPJ is ready. Roll some coverage to him. Don't do what the Bengals did. The Ravens. The Ravens just said, we're not going to double this guy. We're just going to let him continuously crush us. That's just not smart. That doesn't make any sense. And you can say the plan could be to have JPJ cover Jamar Chase. But we need to have a backup plan in case plan A doesn't work. If plan A doesn't work, hey, throw to somebody else. We're not going to let Jamar Chase just kill us here. We're just not going to let that. And the Ravens did. The Ravens never adjusted. They never adjusted. They just said, you're killing us. Just continue to do it. just keep on killing us. We're not going to make any adjustments. Not going to make any adjustments. And that was embarrassing. If you're a Ravens defender or defensive coaches, defensive coordinator, you got to be embarrassed about how you played last night and what you let happen. So, yeah, I thought it was a good game plan by the Bengals too. Look, they wanted to run the ball. The Ravens said, you're not going to run it for very much. And the Bengals plan was just like, we're going to use our running back to just throw checkdowns to run the football. I thought it worked. I thought it was great. But we just got to have more than one plan when we play them. And we'll see. We'll see. So like I said, it was a good football game if you like offensive football. If you like any type of defensive football, yeah, you don't want to watch that game last night because there was no defense. G Stacks. The tackling was embarrassing for the Ravens defense. Never seen a Ravens defense this bad in my life. G-Stacks, you are 1,000% correct, my man. Never seen a Ravens defense this bad. Never. And I don't want to hear about any Ravens fan, well, Kyle Hamilton got hurt. So? Jamar Chase, they were eating him up while he was in there. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? That none of that happened? Of course it happened. Would he have made a little bit of a difference? Maybe, but not enough. So Burrow was taking some big boy hits last night too. Yeah, he was. And he just got up and just kept on going. But that's the reason I think the Steelers can beat the Bengals. All that money and resources that the Bengals have put into their offensive line, it is still atrocious. Lord have mercy. It is still god awful. God awful. Look, I get on our offensive line, specifically Broderick Jones. I get on the guys because I want them to be better. I get it. I'm a fan. I'm a former offensive lineman. I nitpick. But our offensive line is nowhere near as bad as the Bengals. Not even remotely close. And if we had to flip-flop, I don't have any hair, but I don't know what I would do. I just, oh my God. So as much, and I need to take my own advice. As much as I bag on the Steelers' offensive line and want them to be better, it could be the Bengals. We could be the Bengals' offensive line. Whew. So Steeler Lee says the 2024 Ravens equal the 2015-2017 Killer Bees. No, they don't. No, they don't. I get what you're saying, but they don't. First of all, Henry is an outstanding running back. I still think he's the best running back in the league. But he doesn't do the things that Le'Veon Bell can do. Like, he can't run pass, right? He can't do that. You can't line Derrick Henry out in the slot and go run a dig route with him like you could Le'Veon Bell. And they don't have an Antonio Brown on their football team. So, no. I get your premise. I do get your premise. I get it. But, yeah, they don't have that kind of top end of what the Steelers were able to do. But I see your point. Now you're coming down to it. I get it now, Steeler Lee. Championship level offense, trash defense. You're okay. I'm with you now. Because you're right. That's what the Steelers were. The Steelers had a championship, world-class offense, and that defense couldn't stop us in this chat room. Us right here, we could put 11 guys out there, draw up some plays, and we're going up and down the field on that Steelers defense. You're exactly right, Steeler Lee. I'm with you now. My bad, man. My bad. My man Craig says the Ravens defense is worse than I thought. Also, why was Chase single covered? The ref missed 2 penalties on the 2-point try, though. The Ravens helmet. Yeah. The refs missed some calls all night. The refs are going to do that. But my thing is, I understand the human element, but when refs miss plays that cost your team the game, and I don't want to, there's a lot of people that get in and say, well, there's many plays in the game that could have cost you the game. And that's true. But when the game's on the line at the end of the game, if a call is missed, that costs you the game. Period. End of story. There's no, well, I'm going to go back to the middle of the second quarter and say, well, this call, cost you the game. That's not true because you don't know what would have happened. Let's just say the call goes the other way. You don't know what would have happened through the rest of that game because things would have been different. What I do know, though, is at the end of the game, if a ref misses a call and you lose because of that missed call, he cost you the game. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. So Joe Burrow needs a running game so he doesn't have to be perfect and throw the ball 56 times. Bengals defense could not stop anything after Brown fumble. Here's the thing. Miser Smith, you're right. But the Bengals used the short passing game to Brown. They used that as their way of running the football. If you notice, they just threw check down. What did he have? 9 catches? And they were just throwing check downs to him. So That was their way of running the football. And because if you add up Brown's, his check down yardage with his actual rushing yardage, it's 100 yards, almost. But I 100% get what you're saying. But I think they just said, hey, we're going to use these little check down passes as our running game. So I seen some pretty atrocious refereeing at the end of games this year. How about the face mask in the end zone a week or two ago? Yeah, what was that, Minnesota and the Rams? Absolutely. Two refs were standing right there. Two refs standing right there and watched Sam Darnold get his face mask almost ripped off. No call. No call. Unbelievable. Almost like, hey, I wonder what this quarterback is doing. I know he's looking downfield, but all of a sudden his neck just turned sideways. I wonder why that happened. Maybe he was looking to the sideline to his wife or his kids. I wonder if he was looking the sideline in the end zone. I wonder why he did that immediately. He's looking downfield and all of a sudden his neck just snaps this way. And maybe somebody called his name or something. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And then why pick up Herbert? They needed a backup. You got to have a backup running back. So, what's his name? I can't even remember who. Zach Moss. He's hurt. So you got to have a backup. It's not that you can't use Herbert to do the same thing, but you got to have two guys. Joe, he was looking out his ear hole. Yeah, he just decided to look out his ear hole. That's all. He got a helmet that twists. Sam Darnold got that new helmet. I'm looking downfield, and all of a sudden it twists, so I'd have to look out my ear hole. He closed his eye, wanted to look out. Unbelievable. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Craig, look, man. Big G, the big show. We might be doing more of those. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We may be doing that on a weekly basis. We're going to try to figure that out. Hopefully we can make it work. They should have traded T. Higgins and used draft capital to get a wide receiver, tackle, or DB. Love, Joe, Chase, Queen, go Tigers, go Steelers. I mean, they should have. Well, first of all, I think the Bengals got to decide what kind of team they want to be. And you can't pay two receivers that kind of money, but you're right. I think the Bengals think, hey, we're going for it this year, so we're going to keep T. Higgins this year. What are they paying him, like $21 million? Okay, we'll do that because we know we got to pay Jamar Chase next year, and we'll let him go. But we're going to try to win us a Super Bowl this year the way that we're currently constructed. We'll go back in the draft and get a wide receiver, and then we'll go from there. I think that's their thinking. I get what you're saying. They should have gotten better defensive players, but I think they thought they did in the offseason. And they think they drafted guys. I think they believed that their defense was going to be better. It's just not. So, Bengals receive from the refs. Hold on a second. 23 yards on the last play. Yeah, on ticky-tack holding. Yeah, one of them was ticky-tack. You're right. You're right. So, But refs have been bad, man. Salute to you for tap with the chat and chopping it up with us. Hey, man, that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm a fan. Y'all know Steelers Almighty it is a fan channel. Yes, I played football, so I understand football, and I'll talk it to you. But I'm a fan. I'm a fan of football, man. What's the take on Mike Williams? It seems polarizing so far. Some people saying he's washed, but I'm pretty excited about it, especially because Russ good at distributing the ball around. Well, here's the thing. In a Arthur Smith offense, even when he had A.J. Brown in Tennessee, they got the ball to him, but it's not like he had 100 catches. You know, they spread the ball around. That's what this offense is about. And we don't know if Mike Williams is washed or not. He's coming off an ACL surgery. Oh, by the way, before he got hurt last year, he was playing good football. It takes a while to come back from that injury. So he's coming back. He's just now rounded into form. He said so. So we'll see. We'll see. But if he can get back to the level that he was playing at last year before he got hurt, that's better than what the Steelers had on the other side, man. So I like it. The Bengals won't make the playoffs. It's starting to get like, can they lose another football game and still make it? Like, seriously, are they going to be able to lose another game and make it? I mean, how many losses are we thinking that we're gonna allow, or the AFC is going to allow? What do you think of the linebacking core we got in Pittsburgh this year, Vincent? I'm not happy with it. I was real happy at the beginning of the season. It needs to start playing better. It needs to start playing better. I'm not happy with what Patrick Queen has done. Peyton Wilson is a rookie. They're exploiting his eagerness and exploiting him being young, for lack of a better word, because he tries to run around too many blocks and he gets out of position. He's over eager, gets out of position. Claude, what's going on? Appreciate the super chat. What's your take on Big Ben saying, don't believe the hype on the Steelers season? Ben is doing a podcast, guys, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. I think what he's trying to say, part of it is he wants people to relax and say, hey, it hasn't been great while we're winning football games. What we've seen hasn't been great football yet. And he's right about that. Steelers have won, but it hasn't been great football. But it doesn't mean we can't play great. And I think maybe what part of Big Ben is saying is, let's wait until we start seeing better football before we get super excited. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Does he have to say that? No. But he's got a podcast, man. So here's what it is. I get it, but he's got a podcast. So I appreciate it, Claude, man. Thank you, brother. The big show with Big G. Stay tuned. I think we may have more of that. I think the Bengals coach and his staff is holding Joe back. I don't think he's holding Joe back. Which, as a Steeler fan, they're not holding him back. He threw for 400 and something yards last night. It's hard to say they're holding him back. I just don't think they're as good. Queen's been on a milk carton so far this year. Yeah, what's he only got one game? Look, I'm not saying he's got to have 10 tackles every game. I'm not saying that. And there's other guys that are making plays, but we're paying the guy a good deal of money. He probably needs to have a couple of splash plays here or there. That's all I'm saying. Ben remembers that 11-0 start and the way that yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And I think that's what he's thinking. And we haven't seen enough of the Steelers offense with Russell Wilson to just go out and say, okay, this is going to be incredibly different. We've seen 2 games. It's been 2 good games, but let's just give it a minute. And I don't think there's anything wrong with giving it a minute. I really don't. Craig puts in a good question. Should Queen have the dot? Somebody brought that up the other day. I don't think he should. And I know you can't give it to another linebacker. You can't give it to Wilson or Elandon Roberts because they're so interchangeable. You know who's not interchangeable? And I brought this up on the podcast on the Big G show, or on the Big Show with Big G, I should say. I said, give it to Minka. Minka's not interchangeable. Minka's not going in and out of the lineup. Give it to him and let him call the play. It's not that big a deal, and let Queen just run and play free and not have to worry about that. So let's see. Obviously, neither team has defense last night. We are a more complete team in the North. Absolutely, Mel. Absolutely, we're a more complete team. I would say this, if we're all being honest, their offenses are better than ours, are more explosive than ours. I'll say that. We got to be honest. That doesn't mean that our offense can't score points, though. See, I think in America, we've gotten to this society, especially in social media age, where if I say somebody is better, that's code word for that the other team is bad. That doesn't mean that. To say that the Bengals and the Ravens have a more explosive offense than us, that's just a fact. That doesn't mean that the Steelers' offense can't be explosive. Doesn't mean the Steelers' offense isn't any good. It just means that theirs is more explosive. Okay. But you also know I can say the Steelers' defense is miles better than both of those. And we have watched their defenses be bad. So there you go, Byron. Our defense is just far better, which is why we're a more complete football team. I mean, yeah, we got to be ready for the battles coming up. We absolutely. Ooh, Vincent, here's one. Beanie Bishop turning into a big dog for us this year. I'll be interested to see if Beanie's still on the field this week. Or does Cam Sutton take his spot? To me, it sounds like Mike Tomlin likes Cam Sutton better than he likes Beanie Bishop. We'll see in the game. But from what Mike Tomlin said in his press conference when he was asked about Cam Sutton, he was very definitive and just basically came out, yeah, Cam Sutton can play anywhere. So everybody needs to be on notice because this guy can play any position in the secondary. When your head coach is saying that, who's a defensive coach, doesn't that tell you that this guy's going to be on the field? That's what it tells me. Because otherwise, I mean, and while he could be giving coach speak, I think Mike Tomlin is done. Hey, man, this guy's good. He can play. That's why we brought him back. So, do you think Cam Sutton will make a big difference for them? I do. Cam was really good with the Steelers when he was playing in the slot. He can play outside, but that's not his strength. He was good when he was playing in the slot. So, that's my thinking. Not my thinking. I know. We watched. Which is why when Detroit decided to give Cam Sutton all that money, the Steelers were like, yeah, we're not gonna match that. Because while we like him, we're not paying this guy all this money when he's a good slot corner. You know. Think about Mike Hilton, who went to the Bengals. Mike Hilton goes to the Bengals, and he's not playing outside. He's playing slot. That's why that's what he was good at in Pittsburgh. He goes to the Bengals. He's doing the same thing. Cam Sutton, they were like, yeah, he's good in the slot, but we're going to play him outside. He's not good out there, or not as good, I should say. Will the Steelers regret not giving Harris his fifth-year option? It just depends because, first of all, they could still franchise him if they want to. Second of all, they could still sign him. And it depends on how much he signs for. But I don't think Najee Harris is going to go out there and he's not going to command the same type of money as like a Saquon Barkley. Doesn't mean that he's not good, but Saquon, second contract, what do you get? $27 million guaranteed? Something like that, 3 years, whatever it was. I mean, he's not going to get that. He's not getting $10, $12 million a year. But if the Steelers can get Najee Harris a 3-year extension and give him anywhere between $7 to $9 million, I'd be in for that. I'd be more on the $7.5 million a year. Give him 7.5, give him 19 to 20 million guaranteed for 3 years. That's what I would do. And they can do that. Thinks it's going to be a big week from Muth. Guy deserves red zone targets. Yeah, he does. It's time. It's time. So we got to start hitting Muth up the seam too. We got to start doing that. I can see Dallas going for Harris in the offseason. You're right. But Najee's got to decide, is it more about money? And it's both, don't get me wrong. But is it more about money? Because Dallas's problems aren't just because of the running back. It's their offensive line. So you can say, yeah, I'm just going to throw a running back at this problem. That is not all Dallas's problem. The offensive line is part of their problem. So if he wants to go there and play again with a bad offensive line, he can do that. Do you think we'll keep Russ and Justin Fields next season? I don't know. We got a lot of football left to still be played before I could even remotely make that decision. If it ended today, I think you do. Russ would be the starter and Fields be the backup. But I'm willing to let it all play out first. I know Broderick has been a big disappointment on the line so far this year. You have mentioned he's playing hurt. That's no excuse. If you had to guess, what do you think the injury is? Miser, he's hurt, but you know me. I haven't given him an excuse at all for being hurt. Damn that. Excuse is not, or being hurt is not an excuse for bad effort. It's just not. It's not an excuse for bad effort. So what I would say is I think he's either got a bicep injury, a tricep injury, or a UC lateral ligament in his elbow. I think that is what is going on with Broderick Jones. Having said all of that, that doesn't have anything to do with your technique on hand placement, footwork, or effort. None of that has anything to do with it. So I can see you not having as much power because of that. I give you that. But you can still put your hands in the right spot. You can still have your feet in the right spot. You can still give effort. None of that is happening with him right now. Do I see Fields packages against the Commanders? Maybe. If on goal line packages, red zone stuff, when we get to the goal line, I could see that. I could see that. And I think I would want to see that. So I think I would want to see that. Broderick's in his head. Yeah, he is. But he's got to get out of his head. I mean, the play is pathetic. Do you think Preston Smith is going to get some looks this week against the Commanders? I think he will. Look, Preston Smith is what he is at this point. He's a backup, and so he's going to get backup minutes, or backup snaps, I should say. Having said that, Marcus Golden was the same type of player. Preston Smith is better than Marcus Golden, or at least he was, and Marcus Golden came in and was a spot player for us. He needs to be the same type of guy so that we got a good rotation. So there's going to be a drop-off between Watt and Highsmith and Herbig and Smith, but there doesn't have to be a crazy drop-off like it has been the last few weeks. So Najee needs a supporting cast, a strong O-line. Yeah, he does. Najee needs a lot of that stuff. What's going on, Allie Howard? Do I think the Bengals should have went for 2-point conversion? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know you're trying to win and get out of there because your defense can't stop a soul, and that's the problem, and you weren't going to leave the Ravens enough time, but now you lost another football game. To me, when my offense is that hot, I just keep it going. And I give myself an opportunity. But maybe they're thinking, well, if we don't win the coin toss, we're not going to be able to stop them from scoring a touchdown. So we want to end the game right now and not even give them an opportunity. I get it. So having Patterson back is big for different packages. I was saying that, man. You are 100% right. Cordell Patterson was playing very good, Craig, before he got hurt. Explosive plays. He basically picked up where Jaylen Warren was hurt. Yeah, I like it. Ryan Clark, he picked the Commanders? I mean, Ryan Clark works for an organization, though. So we can't be so mad at some of these guys for picking football games. A lot of this stuff is predetermined. It's just predetermined entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. Me and my buddy created this channel. We want to be entertaining too, but nobody's forcing us to do anything. Nobody's telling us we got to be this is how we feel. We're just honest people. So does he believe that? He might. Oh, and by the way, the Commanders are good. So Ryan Clark picking the Commanders to win at home is not outlandish. It's not an outlandish pick. The Commanders are good. They're a good football team. You guys are going to see the scouting report that I put together that came out. It's going to come out later today. Yeah. I think the matchup is pretty damn even. Pretty damn even. Y'all should make sure you all go check it out when it comes out today, man. So, yeah, that's right. The Bengals went for it on 4th down when they could have had 3 points. You're exactly right. You can see Najee and Patterson in the backfield at the same time. We got to do some different things in the red zone. That's part of the Steelers' problem. Not enough creativity in the red zone. Well, you get all your weapons back. Let's see what you can do. Imagine Russ at quarterback, maybe Fields lined up next to him, Najee in the backfield, something. Mike Williams and Pickett on one side, Freiermuth on the other. I mean, there's just a wealth of things that we can do. We just got to have that kind of imagination. So, do a read option with Justin Fields and go backside and throw it to a tight end or a fade route, something, anything. But Steelers got to get more creative in the red zone. That's been their problem. Final record prediction for the Steelers this year is 11-6. I got us going 5-4 down the stretch here. A lot of people didn't like that 5-4. And after seeing last night, I have us losing the game to the Bengals. Will we? So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I try to be a realist about it. 5-4 seems realistic. It starts off with us winning this game on Sunday, but we'll see. We'll see. A lot of you guys are like, no. And I don't necessarily disagree with you. So, yeah, we definitely need creativity on defense, Joe. Way too vanilla. Way too vanilla. Not enough zone blitzes. But, yeah, we haven't been able to do any zone, or not been able to. We haven't done any zone blitzing. We roll coverages every now and then, but basically the Steelers just line up. They've been playing a lot of two-deep zone. Good quarterbacks pick that apart. Average quarterbacks pick that apart. So we got to start being a lot more creative. And maybe they were waiting for that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Best special teams in the league. Absolutely. Absolutely, Vincent. It's not even close. It's not even close. So, not even close. What else we got? Is Herbig back this week? Supposedly. We'll see. I think it's he's going to test it out again today and see what he can do today. I wouldn't be mad if Herbig sat out this week and came back next week. But if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. The one that I don't think is going to make it all the way back is Corey Trice. I don't think Corey Trice is going to make it all the way back. But again, we'll see. And I wouldn't be mad if Corey Trice sat another week just for the stuff that we have coming back with Cam Sutton. We've got more depth. So I wouldn't be mad if Corey Trice sat another week to get more healthy. But again, if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. So too many rookies for exotic blitzes. And yeah. I think that was part of the problem. You got Beanie Bishop out there, and then you got Peyton Wilson out there, who Peyton Wilson's already been out of position in a lot of stuff. You're trying to do zone blitzes. You're talking about getting really gashed if they don't know exactly where to go and where to be. But now, look, you're 8 games in. You got a bye week. You've got other guys coming back that understand what's going on. Either you get with the program or you're going to be on the bench. So I agree with you. More exotic blitzes, I think, are coming. And now it's gotten to the point of either you can figure it out or you can't, but we can't wait on you any longer. We can't wait on you. Commanders feeling good about themselves, but they haven't beat anyone. The Commanders are a good football team. They're a good football team, but I like the Steelers to win a close game. Record prediction, y'all got to watch the scouting report. I give that to you. That'll be out later today. Make sure you guys check that out. And also, man, y'all got to call in. Y'all got to call into the Steelers almighty line, man. Y'all haven't been calling in. The number 412 444 8390. Y'all don't have to tell me who you are, man. You don't have to do that. Just tell us where you're calling from. That's it. We don't need to know who you are. We're not trying to identify you guys. I just want to hear your rant. I want to hear you talk. And we put it on the podcast, man. Nobody's going to know who you are. As long as it's coherent and it's not all cuss words. I'm not saying you can't cuss, but I've gotten several. Every 5 words, somebody's cussing. I'm like, man, I can't. The whole thing can't be cuss words. Oh, man. Daniel's playing out of his mind, but still a rookie who hasn't faced corner edge rushing like Highsmith and Watt. No, he hasn't. The one thing I will say about the Commanders is that their defense, their offensive line has played real well this year. Really well. 6'4", super chat. We appreciate you, man. Big play wide receiver with huge Mike Williams, who should open up the middle, a pass rusher who can set the edge. Keep up the great work, Big B. Let's go. Absolutely. Let's go. I agree with all of that. I'm not saying Mike Williams is going to be a guy that comes in and gets 60 catches the remaining of the year. No. But what Mike Williams does is he runs excellent go routes, catches 50-50 balls between the sidelines and the numbers, and we know Russell Wilson throws the best deep ball to the sideline of anybody in the National Football League. So why not go get a guy that enhances what he does? That's all I'm saying. Washington's win over the Bears was a fluke. Washington gave that game, or not Washington. The Bears gave the game away. Trying to hand the damn ball to was it a defensive tackle or an offensive tackle? Whatever. A lineman on the freaking goal line. Oh, and by the way, you're paying a running back like $17 million a year. Why don't you hand the damn ball to him? But the Bears are going to bear, so. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we can do. I see you're talking about cornerback blitzes. Absolutely. Was Roman Wilson injury prone in college? No, he wasn't. I'm so disgusted with that. And the reason being is because it's not that the Steelers couldn't have used another number 2 receiver. They could have, and I'm glad we did it. But I felt like Roman Wilson could be that guy to come in. He's a good blocker, sure-handed, and he's fast. Doesn't mind going over the middle to catch the ball. Can't stay healthy. Terrible. But no, he wasn't injury-prone in Michigan. He wasn't. So, do I think that Mike Williams will be our new wide receiver in 13 personnel? No. No, I don't. Mike Williams is not the greatest blocker. So, no. Now, in certain situations, he might be, but I still think you stick with Jefferson. I still think you stick with Pickens because you can still throw the ball out of that formation, which the Steelers have done a lot of. But Mike Williams isn't the greatest blocker. Even though he's big, I would still prefer to have Van Jefferson out there digging out those safeties. Calvin Austin's wide open all the time. Russ can't see him because they're both short. Calvin Austin has been open. I'm not going to say all the time, but he's been open. But I think they're going to start getting him the football even more. I know. Here's the thing. Mike Williams being on the team will help Calvin Austin. When we're in 11 personnel, it will help Calvin Austin because he's going to be open in the middle of the field. I'm just saying. Having Mike Williams out there is going to help Calvin Austin. Justin Fields in the Wildcat, short yardage, goal line situation. I like it. I like it. As a Steeler fan, I was pulling for the Bengals to beat the Ravens. You know what, Aiden? I kind of was too, man. I kind of was too because it was like, hey, let the Ravens go down another game to us. I was kind of the same way. The only thing is that for me, and now y'all tell me if I'm wrong, and I might be crazy. I might be crazy. But I fear the Bengals more than I fear the Ravens. Am I crazy for that? I have always, in the last 3 years, I have feared playing the Bengals more than I have feared playing the Ravens. That's been my thing. I always have. I was just like, with Joe Burrow, even with that shitty offensive line, with Joe Burrow, Chase, they had Mixon, which they gave away Mixon. I don't know. But they had Mixon. But with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, I always feared the Bengals more than I feared the Ravens, man. I still do. I still do. I see y'all saying, nope, I'm not crazy. I didn't think I was crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. Lamar is going berserk this year. But we're 2-4 against Lamar. We have pass rushers that can keep Lamar in the pocket. Like, Lamar doesn't hurt us running the football. We keep Lamar in the pocket. And we can rush in the middle. You know? So, that's my thing. I've always feared the Bengals. So now I'm like, well, damn, how many games have the Bengals lost? Are they even going to be able to get back into it? So who knows? Yeah, I get it. I just don't think I don't think the Steelers are going to allow Chase to do that. He may go off a little bit, which he does, but the Steelers will make adjustments and just say, okay, enough's enough. Enough is enough. You're right. I got PTSD from Kenny Pickett offense. Man, baby hands. I'm done with baby hands, man. I'm going to leave him alone. He doesn't play for us anymore, so I let it go. I never wanted Pickett on our team. I never wanted us to draft him. I didn't think he was a first-round talent. He isn't a first-round talent, but I was forced to root for him because he was my quarterback, and I'm not that guy that's, oh, he stinks. And, hey, man, I want to win. So I don't care who's the quarterback, really. I knew he wasn't very good, but he doesn't play for us anymore, so I'm done with him. Actually, as a starting QB, we're 1-3 against Lamar. Yeah, you're right. We are. You're right. I just, I don't know. Look, Lamar Jackson's playing outstanding football. Anybody that's saying Lamar Jackson, what has he got? Like 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions this year. The guy is playing amazing football. All those people out there that say Lamar Jackson he's a running back playing quarterback. I'm like, bro, just shut up. Okay? Obviously, you don't know football. You're just repeating something that you've heard online. The guy is leading the league in passing. What else do you want him to do? Yes, he's got to win a Super Bowl. But here's my thing. Nobody said that Dan Marino wasn't a quarterback because he never won a Super Bowl. Nobody ever said Dan Marino wasn't any good because he didn't win a Super Bowl. Nobody ever said that. But yet Lamar Jackson, somehow not any good, not a good quarterback. He's a running back playing quarterback because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Social media, man. I love being out here, but y'all know me. I'm always going to be honest. Honesty. It'll take my page longer to build up. It will. It's going to take it longer because I don't come out with the clickbait stuff. I don't come out with the bullshit. It'll take my page longer to get where it wants to go, where I want it to go. But once it gets there, people will stay because they know that I bring honest football talk to the table and not just BS for somebody to click in, come argue with me, and then me not even respond to you by saying, I got you to click. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. Never going to do that. You may not agree with what I say, but it's going to be what I believe, and that's it. We don't have to agree. We're not going to be disrespectful to each other, but we don't have to agree. It's just what is what it is, man. Like I said, it'll take me longer. It will. I don't know. I say that. y'all are dead set on me not taking as long. Look, I started this, me and my partner, my buddy, we started this on April 4th of this year. And I thought it was going to be a year before we started seeing real feedback. Shoot, it wasn't even 60 days. And granted, I'm the Steelers Nation, we're crazy. But I was like, so y'all are damn sure here to say, no, Big B, it ain't going to take you long. It ain't going to take you long to get to where you're trying to go. So I appreciate it, man. I really do. I really do. Fran Tarkin and Jim Kelly are Hall of Famers and never won Super Bowls. Yeah, man. It is what it is. People are nuts. And that's the thing. You're right, Mel. That's the whole thing. We don't have to agree. But it's almost like but the problem is people get on social media, and if they don't agree, they get disrespectful with the disagreement, which I just don't stand for. I don't stand for that. I've gotten better. I just don't stand for people disagreeing, being disrespectful. You can just say, man, I think you're wrong, and this is why. Okay. But people get, you don't know ball, you're an idiot. What are you even talking about? Huh? Come on, man. I think we all agree this is the best Steelers podcast out there. You're honest. So refreshing. I appreciate it, Robert. That's all I'm ever going to be, is honest. Again, it's good and bad. When we're bad, I'm going to say we're bad. But when we're good, I'm going to say we're good. So, yeah, last night, though, man. 49ers and Bucks. Who you got? I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't paid attention. I get locked in on the Steelers. Where's the game? The game in Tampa? I mean, I know McCaffrey's coming back for the 49ers, and I know the Bucks wide receivers are all hurt. But they sure did play the Chiefs pretty damn tough the other night on the road, in the rain, scored points. I'm not putting anything past Bucks. You know who's playing well for them? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. That Cleveland threw out in the trash. Baker Mayfield's playing good. I was just like, so let me get this straight. You draft this guy number 1 overall. He comes in as a rookie, and you got a trash team. You won more games than you've won in forever. The next year, he gets hurt. The year after that, they go to the playoffs, beat the Steelers in the playoffs on the road. And then the next year, he probably should have sat out with that shoulder injury. He doesn't. He plays through it. He plays bad, and you get rid of him, even though you know he's hurt. You get rid of him. And now he's off playing good football with the Bucks. Got them into the playoffs. Won a playoff game. The Browns are always going to brown, man. The Browns are always going to brown. I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate that, Clifton. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep it going, too. We're going to keep mixing it up. Like I said, we're going to keep trying to improve on what we do every day. So, the Browns are going to brown. Yeah, the Browns are always going to brown, man. They're going to brown. They're going to brown. So, and that's the thing. Shout out to Baker for reviving his career. Damn right. Because to me, you draft the guy number 1. How do you give up on that guy after what he had done? Like, the Browns weren't bad because Baker Mayfield. He was hurt, and you knew it. He could barely lift his arm, and he's out there throwing football. I mean, come on. But it's the Browns. And now what do you have as a quarterback? You got a guy that can't play football anymore in Deshaun Watson. He's hurt. You got 30 for 30 Winston out there. Whew. It's just here's what I would say, Steeler fans. I'm going to say this with my chest out. As bad as what we think that we are or have been or could be, we are not the Browns. That's all I'm going to say. We are not the freaking Browns. Always remember that. Just keep that in the back of your mind. We can lose a game that we shouldn't lose, like we lost to the Cowboys. We're not the Browns. We're not the Browns. Do you think Pittsburgh would, with a pass rush, would give Kansas City Chiefs more than Buffalo Bills and Ravens? We get more pressure on a quarterback better than them. I don't know, but we're going to find out because the Steelers play the Chiefs. I think we would because we have a pass rush, and it's not just outside pass rush. We got guys that can rush interior because that's what Mahomes likes to do. Mahomes likes to step up in the pocket and then try to do his – and the Steelers aren't going to allow for that. Cam Hayward playing good football. The Steelers have a good pass rush. So, yeah, I think we can do that. It's all about the back end, and if we can cover, we'll be fine. Worst trade by far, Mingo to the Cowboys for a fourth. I would say whoever that was that made that trade for the Cowboys needs to be fired. But you can't really fire him because the GM is the owner, so it is what it is. Oh, Joe, Chiefs defense scares me, to be honest. Not enough people have that opinion, man. And it's a good opinion. Chiefs defense is really good. Not enough people. All they see is Patrick Mahomes and, well, they're struggling. And the Chiefs are undefeated, number one. Number two, the defense is playing lights out football. I mean, the Chiefs defense is really good and has been for the last 2 years. Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year because of their defense. And not enough people are saying that out loud. I don't know why, but that's just the truth. It's just the truth. Their defense has been great. Basically, you could say the last 2.5 years. Now, in the Super Bowl against Philly, their defense wasn't great. But how they got there, it's their defense, man. Their defense has been really good the last 2.5 years. A lot of the sports world is sleeping on Russ. Steelers nations are in for a treat. No serious injuries and less turnovers. Super Bowl. Hey, Donnell, I don't disagree, bro. We just got to keep it going. We just got to keep it going. But, hey, sleep on us if you want. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Sleep on us. Chiefs defense has won them more games for them than Patrick the last 2 years. Let me say that again. The Chiefs defense has won them more games over the last 2 years than Patrick has. Yeah, you're exactly right. Feel like the Christmas game against the Chiefs is an exhibition game since we see them again postseason. And well, it's going to depend on where we're at because it's the second to last game of the season. Hell, the Chiefs might have home field advantage wrapped up by then. And if they do, are they going to be playing a lot of their guys? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's a Wednesday game, too. It's weird. Wednesday. So we'll see. And the NFL, I love the NFL, but this money grab, I'm like, well, you don't need to have football games on a Wednesday just to say you have it on Christmas. I always say, let the NBA have Christmas. They've done their thing on Christmas forever. I enjoy watching the NBA on Christmas Day. Like, why does the NFL? I mean, if the game happens to be on a Sunday, okay, I'm all for it. But we don't need to force it. But they're forcing it. Washington Commanders and Pittsburgh are going to be a really good game on Sunday. Aiden, you are exactly right. I feel like it's going to come down to the wire, man. I feel like it's going to come down the wire and be a tough football game. That's what I believe. So, hey, man, I'm going to run out of here. I appreciate all of you all giving me some time this morning. Just wanted to get in and rap to you. Just to let you know, I will be doing this probably 2 or 3 times a week moving forward, man. YouTube just opened this up. So going live, you can do it on your phone now versus you having to get – I usually do the lives, like I said, before the game and after the game through the computer. And so it's a bigger production. But I can get on here and just – boom, turn the phone on and do it. So I'll be doing this. So y'all want to come back anytime, I appreciate it. Remember, hour before the game on Sunday, make sure you come in to Steelers Almighty. We'll be doing a live, getting us ready, getting us hyped for the game. And then 15 minutes after the game, we will be doing our live as we always do. Make sure you guys come back, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys, man. As always, I love you guys. I love the support. Let's keep this thing rolling. Got a big one on Sunday, but I think we got our shot, man. Make sure you check out the scouting report that's coming out here in a few hours. Until then, aloha.